We can't spend all day talking
We
about
can, but we
the
probably
dread
should.
of the Republican Party because we have to ask ourselves a simple question: where
Right?
are the Democrats?
The green
Silent,
body.
maybe watching, maybe tweeting something mildly outraged, but action, not so much. The frustration is real. You got people furious over Musk's mass firing of federal workers, calling it government sabotage. But instead of making those workers the face of their resistance, it seems like the Democrats are just letting the moment pass. Meanwhile, Trump's allies are dismantling policies, courts, and are blocking Biden's efforts, and the GOP's media machine is in overdrive. So, why aren't the Democrats fighting back like their political lives depend on it? Are they afraid of taking on the billionaires who fund their campaigns? Do they just not know how to fight today's social media battlefield? Or is it something deeper, an unwillingness to truly challenge power unless that power somehow comes from the left? Here's what Hakeem Jeffries had to say about the situation.
I'm trying to figure out what leverage we actually have. What leverage do we have? They control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. It's their government. What leverage do we have?
Then there's Kamala Harris. She's popping up at Broadway shows, getting standing ovations, telling people to fight for something. But what fight is she actually leading? Here was Kamala Harris getting a moment to speak to the Broadway show.
And then, but spirit's tired, but you cannot be defeated. Never let anybody defeat that. Because then what do we have left? When we think about like these moments where we see things that are being taken, but also let's see it as nature abhors a vacuum. So where there's a vacancy, then let's fill it, right? And let's know that the reality is that the progress of our nation has always been about the expansion of rights, not the restriction of rights. We're seeing a U-turn right now. For those rights to be maintained, which means we have to be vigilant, and it's just the nature of it. I mean, look at this beautiful play and everything that we know he was suppressed, he had to suppress so much. But he knew, and he took those risks, but we have to be clear-eyed. And it doesn't mean we don't see the beauty in everything, right? These things all coexist. But I believe we fight for something, not against something. Right? And that's our optimism, right?
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, with that,
There's also talk of her making a comeback in the California governor's race. If she jumps in, she'd be the front runner almost instantly. But is she the leader the Democrats need nationally right now? She did get the most popular votes for someone who didn't win the presidency in history. So there's that. But this is happening while the courts are gutting Democratic policies. Biden's $500 million student loan forgiveness plan, gone. Struck down for good. So not only are the Democrats struggling to define the fight, but they're also losing the battles they've already picked. So here's a question for you guys. What should the Democrats be realistically doing here? Should they wait for all this to fill on its own? Should they be out there right now canvassing for new leaders who actually know how to fight? Or is it time to admit defeat and start thinking about a whole new political movement? What do you guys think?
I think they should be doing what they were elected to do. They should, somebody should be stepping up in leadership to see, you still have races coming up. You still have primaries coming up. Trump's term is only 4 years. You really should be building up.
Allegedly.
You really should be building up leaders. So it's like people should be hearing from you. People should be hearing your voice. People should be hearing that you oppose what's going on. People should be hearing what powers you do have. People should be aware of what you voted for. I think there right now should be an explanation of we voted on this thing's illegal, he can't do this, don't worry about that, that's this, he can't do that, this is being challenged in this court, this is being like they should be out there. Their voices should be out there, letting people know from the Democratic perspective what's going on, instead of just kind of silently letting chaos happen. People should be hearing from you, like you were still voted in office. So, and also that speech from Kamala Harris, just to get back to that, that really reminded me of one of those conversations where like somebody's trying to inspire you, but you're like ready to go.
Your spirit is broken already.
You're just like stuck in an awkward conversation, like waiting for them to be quiet so you can leave. That's what that felt
like. Dex, to Todd's point, 77, I think it was, million people voted for Kamala Harris, right? Although she didn't win, she got a lot of votes, right? It was 75 million or something like that. She got a lot of votes. So these are people who are depending on her party to now pick up the slack and try to fight for what they ended up voting for. Now, Ilhan Omar, the senator from Minnesota, I think it's Minnesota, spoke, and she said, look, this is the Republicans' government. So whatever happens here happens under the Republicans' government. You guys will be able to see that. So is it a strategy? Is it an effective strategy to just sit back and say, hey, we'll let it fail. We'll let the country go to hell in order for you to see that you voted for the wrong thing? Is that effective to you? What do you think?
Yes, I mean, to an extent, like, of course, it's like if you burn this house down, you can't point the finger at me because like this was all on you. But right. I think the biggest issue with the Democratic Party is that there have been no leaders outside of Kamala Harris, no new leaders since like 1992. Like you still have like your biggest people of the night at the DNC was Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, and they were in office since 1992. You put Michelle and Barack Obama out there, and they were big time in 2008. And then you come and then you put Joe Biden. Joe Biden has been in the president's office since 2008, and this man was still running again in 2024. The issue with the Democratic Party is that there's no new leaders. There's nobody new coming in there. And then for the life of me, I cannot remember who Kamala Harris's running mate was. I do not remember who it was. What is he doing? And then it's like, where is the young leadership? Like Hakeem Jeffries is probably one of the youngest people I've seen, and he's defeated. So like, where is the young leadership there? Where is the leadership in general? Kamala Harris just signed to CAA. She wants to be a model. Like she's not trying to run the country. Like what's going to happen is
Joe Biden signed to CAA technically.
Well, he's trying to model too. 4 years from now, what's going to happen is we're going to see a Kamala Harris try to jump in there and run again. The same way like how Hillary Clinton did it. Like these people are not going to let go of this power. They are going to do what the person said, well, they're just going to let things fail and they'll come out and say, look, see, we told you. But at that point, like I'm on the street.
Right.
That's
the thing.
I guess my problem is my issue is I know that that's their strategy, but it's a really bad one because if you're going to take the next 4 years off, what are we paying you for?
Right.
Like they're just like actually take the next 4 years off, resign and rerun in 4 years. If you're not going to do absolutely anything, you're going to sit back and let it like, oh, what leverage do we have? The leverage that you have are the people. You still have primaries coming up. You have a lot of things that you could be doing. What are you talking about? What leverage do you have? Why are you standing up there looking and sounding like an idiot? Like get in there and tell the people what's going on and what you plan on doing about it. Like
I think a lot of this is also motivated by fear as well. And I knew something was up when Joe Biden had to, what is it called when they like give them, they can't get it pardoned. When Joe Biden had to pardon his entire family, like even down to the dogs, I'm like, oh, well, you scared. Like you are afraid to match up with Donald Trump. Like at this point, like, yeah, it'll be better off with one of us trying to run the country because these people aren't going to do anything.
If they don't do something now, they won't see power for a very long time.
I agree. And one last point, remember 4 years ago when Donald Trump was not in, every single day this man was out there talking about what they were doing, criticizing what they were doing.
I mean, come on.
He took it so far that he created his own social media platform to talk about how terrible the Democratic Party was running the country. And y'all are at Broadway Place.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I'm saying.
That's a good point, Dex.
That wrapped it up, Dex. That's exactly.
That's a great point. All right.